Hidely ho, neighborinos. Yes, we're the gun cranks. We're back. It's been a little longer than normal, but we're back. I'm Guns Magazine editor Brent Wheat, along with Tom McHale, the editor of American Handgunner Magazine, and Roy Huntington, international man of mystery. And we are the gun cranks. Hello, gentlemen.
I'm still recovering from neighborino.
I don't think that's a word.
I don't know
Hey,
if it is or not.
I used to be, I was a huge Simpsons fan for the first 10 seasons before they got woke and jumped the shark. And that's Ned's greeting. Hidely ho, neighborinos.
Okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
No, it
Took me a
doesn't make
minute.
it any better, but it does make sense.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
All right, what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about us, and then we're going to talk about guns. But no,
Guns.
us. This is cool, and it's pretty amazing to me. Roy, how many views do you think our little old channel had last month? Any idea?
49 million.
Okay, it was a little lower than that, but
I'm going with 7.
Yeah, was it 2 million?
It was 2 million.
Wait, we have to say that right. 2 million views.
What does the tote board say?
That's right.
Yeah, we hit 2 million views, and more importantly, we hit over 100,000 subscribers, and we get one of them there plaques. Can you imagine that? Did the plaque come yet, Roy?
Ashley got it, and she shipped it to me, so I'll be having it. And I'll hold it up the next time.
Wait a minute.
So.
I was just going to go on record and say there's no way they're going to send us a plaque. We are personas.
We
Is
got
that
a
like
plaque.
persona non
And
grata, but multiple of them. We're
and
that
a nice letter. And a nice little letter.
because we talk
we're
about
so
wrong
proud of
speak
you.
pretty much every time for
Yeah.
YouTube. So.
Well, there was one part where it was really mean, and it said, "You're officially influencers now." And I thought, man, I've been called some bad stuff, but good
I know.
Lord, that was
I
awful.
know. I can't. Was Elmer Keith an influencer? I think he was.
Yeah.
Was
think
the
he
first
was.
Well,
influencer.
Tom, we are in the presence of greatness because the breakout star here is Mr. Roy Huntington, of course.
Mhm.
Only because you coerced me into making those shorts. It was like, hey, get off your butt and do some shorts because I think they'll work. Well, they did.
Turns out they did.
Yeah, they did.
So yeah, we're zooming and we're hoping, fingers crossed, we may hit 3 million this month. So I would have to say we are one of the up and comers in the shooting world. I did a little competitive analysis, and I won't mention the names, but we're head and shoulders above most of our friends in the gun media business. So we're something's happening. Don't know what it is, but we're glad you're here. And please, as we always say in all of our YouTube productions, please like and subscribe what we're doing. That's how it makes you part of the FMG family. And it lets our bosses know that people are actually watching, and we need one of those plaques. So anyway, it's been a great thing. We really appreciate the audience, because if we didn't have you, we'd have to get phony baloney jobs. And, you know.
Well, you know what? I want to explain something to people in that, everyone always says, the talking head on the screen says, and subscribe and like us and stuff like that. Well, actually, why that's important is because, and we just learned this, you hit 100,000 and suddenly YouTube is your friend.
Mhm.
And if you engage the viewers a lot, like comments, like, if somebody posts and one of us says, hey, thanks for posting, and answers a question, well, YouTube's algorithm loves that. And so when they see a high level of engagement like that, well, then suddenly they start putting our videos in your feeds. And like right now, we're getting, thousands of people who are making comments saying, I've never heard of your channel before. This was in my feed. I don't even like guns, but this was interesting. I subscribed.
Yeah.
And so by subscribing, it's like you really help us to get the word out, even better, which I think, I know I'll speak for these two guys, is that most of, or a lot of what we do here is because we believe in it. We really want to help. We want to promote shooting, so help us help you.
Exactly. And one of the interesting things, we were talking before we hit the record button here, is we get a lot of comments, and we're not going to talk bad about anybody else, but it's interesting. We get a lot of comments, well, you guys don't cuss and you're not waving your arms, and that's not how we are. So it's cool that people notice that, and you don't have to play that game to be successful on YouTube.
Well, let me read a comment. I just had this today. It says, first time watcher, I appreciate your videos. Very informative and professional, and there was no profanity. I appreciate that. I subscribed. So yeah, okay, it's a little thing, but people pay attention.
And this is where Tom should come in with a whole series of expletives.
I'm biting my tongue. This is the perfect opportunity to ask if any particular words are profanity, and I did not. I did not.
Well, my comment that I answered about their poop and medicine, apparently it didn't make it past YouTube, so we'll let that go. But
okay.
Yeah. Well, the final thing is we don't want to go too long and break our own arms, patting ourselves on the back, but we did feel like that was important because that's a thank you to you. It's cool that the audience has joined us and they support us, and we thank you. But one more cool thing we got a tease here. This uber super influencer YouTube star Roy Huntington may be having a book come out. So
I asked him to say that. Okay, just so you know, yes, I asked him. What the company has foolishly done is assembled all of my insider columns and some other articles and random thoughts and things like that and put them into a book, and it'll be available soon on Amazon. And you will know because I will never stop talking about it. And Tom understands because Tom,
you're going to be on that Influencers in the Wild channel, aren't you?
Tom, the famous editor of American Handgunner magazine, has written several books the hard way, where he actually sat down and wrote a book. Unlike me, I wrote mine over 20 years. So I think he understands how cool and fun this is. So this will be a random book. We're going to call it. The subtitle is A Shooter's Bedside Reader.
Yep.
So get one later on.
Why? Because it'll put you right to sleep, or
did you invite him? I don't remember.
I didn't invite him.
You're getting the swelled head going with all the stardom things, so we had to just kind of level things out.
Okay.
I actually today I was talking to my wife about the blessings we've received on YouTube and all that, and I said, yeah, I'm going to have to get, my head's going to swell up. I'm going to be big. I'm going to be a gun tuber. And she goes, I'll never let that happen. I thought, you're right. If you know my wife, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, so, I don't think so.
Yeah. So anyway, look for Roy's book when we get it out. It'll be out in time for Christmas gift giving. So we'll let you
pretty
know
quick,
when that
actually.
happens.
So
yeah.
We'll see.
So, okay. We're done patting ourselves on the back and thanking our audience. So guys, let's talk about all together. Ready? Guns. Okay. That was not the Guns Magazine choir. Actually, I'm going to start out with a reader letter here that we were kind of cussing and discussing before we got started. It says, okay, been waiting a year and still no article on the various double stack 1911 and 2011 handguns currently available on the market. Is there a reason, in parentheses, possibly advertising revenue, why we can't see a list of available firearms in this category? Well, let me give you some of my answer.
Wine.
I said, first of all, revenue doesn't have anything to do with it, at least not at FMG. That's not how we play the game here. It's more of a feeling companies are building these as gee whiz engineering puzzles rather than solving a major problem inherent with the 1911 platform. Thus, we're interested, but not necessarily considering it the new horizon in the shooting world. That's not saying it's dumb or a pointless idea. It's more of a interesting side note than representing the next iteration of the 1911. You may disagree, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't see a huge outcry for 2011 content. In fact, you're the very first letter I've received asking for a review of this concept. So that's my take on it. I would like to
address reader, and you didn't provide the name.
I didn't.
We'll call them Reader X. Reader X, if you're out there listening, you should right now don't walk to your computer and subscribe to American Handgunner magazine, because we have done at least 3 feature stories and 1 or more cover stories and lots of online stories about the new trend of the new Wonder 9s. So I only say Wonder 9 because that's what they used to be called back in the day, right? But on the handgunner front, we see a lot of activity in this space, and I judge that by how many companies are investing big dollars in them. So,
well, I thought
I got 3 on my desk right this minute. So,
I thought you were going to say you put it on the cover, and I was going to think, no, you did.
I did.
Not. You did?
I did. We had staccatos on the cover, and
okay.
we've covered the Prodigy. We have covered Roy. Hold it up. I know you have one sitting right there. We did a feature story on the EAA Witness 2311 series. Mm-hmm. Those are kind of nifty because they're multi-caliber. They're doing 9mm, 10mm, 45s, all double stack.
Yep.
And there's a lot of this stuff.
Deal. I think there's a lot going on in that space, but so I'm with Reader X.
But you don't whine about it, though.
I don't.
Yeah.
Well, and this is the thing I don't understand too: is people say, I had a guy literally, he wrote me an email and asked me for the address of Colt, and I thought, okay, so I went online and I got Colt's address and I sent him an email back. And when I was done, I said, P.S. You know, if you can send email, you probably could use a search engine like Google or something, and you would be able to find this. It's a miracle how that works, but it works really well. And a reader like that, where they say, you know, how come I never see? Well, just say, hello, Dr. Google, give me a list of, and here they all are. Click on images, and you'll see 50,000 pictures of every one of those you could ever want. And so that's all. We don't mind giving you the information, but if you need it like now.
Yeah. Well, and there's another facet here that I didn't really address, but Tom is focused on, his magazine is focused on those things called handguns, right? Well, I got to focus on a world of things called shotguns and rifles and Gatling guns and cannons and all that. So I'm not against allotting space to it, but I will just say on our side of the fence, there's just not been a huge outcry for it. I'm not, again, I hope I made that clear. I'm not against them. I don't think they're, a dumb thing, but just not maybe as much interest. And if you do have interest, subscribe to American Handgun Magazine.
There you go.
How about that?
Because it or something like it will appear eventually.
Yep.
Can we ask, let me add something to this. And that is that, I mean, right now, like I happen to know Springfield Armory has released, I don't know what, 20 new guns.
16,000.
Yeah, 20 new guns in the last, I mean, literally. And then multiply that times Smith & Wesson's Gun of the Week, Remingtons and Winchesters, and the list goes on forever. Plus every little company who are making Glock clones and AR-15 clones. And, it's just like, sorry, man, we don't have the room. You can't keep up with it all. So we do our best. We kind of try to hit the ones that we seem to be most popular, and then every once in a while, I know the guys are really good about, they'll dig down deep and pull out some oddball and say, well, let's look at this guy too,
Yeah.
So,
and Roy, that's a perfect segue. I'm going to take the lead on one more piece and then I'll throw the floor open, but this is my hotness of the week. And it generated a lot of comments. I did an online piece. This is a Mossberg 190D. It's a 16 gauge bolt action shotgun, magazine fed. And, for our younger audience members, they're probably going, what? A bolt action
what the
shotgun?
hell is that?
You had a holster for that?
Yeah, exactly.
A Kydex holster. Yeah.
These were actually wildly popular. And the other weird part is the 16 gauge. You can't hardly find 16 gauge nowadays, but it used to be, depending on whose numbers you look at, it may have been for a while the most popular gauge of shotgun, because gun writers had something to do with it, that it wasn't as punishing as the 12, but yet had a bigger payload than the 20. So there was a time when those purple Federal boxes of 16 gauge were everywhere. So
paper shells, paper waxed shells. So when you shot one, what did we all want to do? Pick up the empty and smell it, because it smelled
delicious.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
So this, I did like I said, a quick online piece. This is the first gun I ever actually bought myself. I bought it at the neighborhood gun shop. That's back when they'd sell a shotgun to a 16-year-old. But it's been a good gun for me. Trying to think, there's a lot more information, so check out gunsmagazine.com. But what was really cool, I did it kind of as a throwaway piece, and Roy suggested just get in your gun cabinet and dig out some of those old bizarro guns that you have, because I thought nobody cares about this gun. I was wrong. Lots of folks
do.
care. And I got all kinds of cool stories and pictures of folks telling me, well, yeah, I did this. And one guy in particular told me about the time that he was allowed to go on the grown-ups hunt on, I think it was New Year's Day. And I thought, yeah, it just made me smile.
Been
So
there.
anyway, the Mossberg 190D 16 gauge bolt action shotgun. And if you're too young to remember it, check it out. There was actually a lot of these out there. So, okay.
Boy, howdy. And you know what? That caused me to tell you that I have one. That my dad had when I was 5, so 1958, or 59. And I've got a 8mm movie from Christmas time of him holding the shotgun and working the bolt and pointing it at the camera, with my mom holding the camera probably, and then he puts it in a case. And I always thought he got the gun that Christmas, but they didn't have any money, so my mom bought him the case. So it was acting like that. But I remember later on, that was the first shotgun I shot, and it was about 2nd or 3rd grade probably. He let me shoot it, where your dad holds it up for you and you go like this and you shoot it, and it gave me a big bruise on my cheek, right? And I'll tell you what, though, I wore that bruise so proudly going to school, because it was like, hey, what'd you do? Fall down? No, I was shooting a shotgun with my dad. It left a bruise on my cheek. It doesn't hurt or anything. I'm all right.
Well, and you brought up something else there I hadn't thought of in a long time, is vinyl gun cases. You don't see those much anymore.
It was a vinyl gun case.
Yeah. They tend to hold moisture a little bit, but boy, they were the thing there for a while.
That's funny. Well, that was cool.
Yeah. So, okay, guys, I'm completely out of topics now. So I open the floor. I know, Roy. Okay, I'll lead in though. You've got like the cutest little gun there. It's the cutest little. You just want to grab it and grab its little cheek and say, "You're
I
cute."
have the cutest little gun. It's called a Goat 15. I'm going to back up so you could see it. This is a miniature. You can see how big it is. See, miniature AR-15 in 22 long rifle. How cool is that? I know. And it's made by a company.
50% scale.
I think it's 70% scale. 70? I think, but all the controls are correct. And it had mag release. The bolt. It's exactly like an AR-15, except it's 22, and it's beautifully made. This company is like, they were like a tool maker or something. And I guess somebody there said, "Oh, I'd like to make a gun," so they did. And so it's wait, let me get my glasses on so I could read this thing. It's called the Goat 15. And if you go to MTN Billy, so Mountain Billy, that's the name of the company, mtnbilly.com, you will see this gun. And it is extremely cool. Called the Goat.
That looks fun.
I was going to say, just the name didn't do it for me. Well, now that I understand where it came from. So,
Mountain
okay.
Billy. Yeah.
Very cool.
All right. So there'll be more about that. I'll be doing a video, and then I'm going to try to talk Brent into putting it into Guns Magazine, which I think maybe we can.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, please tell me, Roy, though, when you go shooting it, you go, pew, pew.
Pew, pew. My wife Susie makes mugs that say that. She has little cutout guns on them, 45s and Pythons and stuff, and they go pew, pew, pew.
You got to put a suppressor on that.
A
Well,
little
maybe
baby
suppressor. Maybe that's going to happen. Because
there you go.
It does have,
seriously at that small scale, because that's the best handgun I have with a suppressor. Is it has what they call compact, which is 75% scale,
and they call it an auxiliary product installer. So it's already
put an auxiliary product on there.
I know, an accessory, a shooting accessory. That's what they call it. So and I actually have one of those tiny cans like you're talking about, which if Brent lets me talk about it, I will talk about it after you, Tom, get to talk about something.
Oh. Well, if we're on the cute and tiny kick, check this out.
What is that?
I call it a pocket high power. Now the folks at EAA Gerson don't call it that. They call it a MCP 35 PILW ops, but basically it's a aluminum frame, short barrel, Browning high power with
Perfect.
modern stuff. See, Roy, it's got a
Perfect.
spot for the TV on top.
It's perfect
Straight
except
trigger,
for that. Yeah.
rail.
I like the
Why
straight
not?
trigger.
And you know what?
Yeah.
I know there's people out there going to cry heresy. I have a standard high power too. I believe in that. But why not modernize the high power a little bit? Because you can. It's
You're
really,
exactly
it's a
right.
nifty little gun. It's light and portable. Love this
I
thing.
think that is the best version of a high power.
Yeah.
Period. That right there. Because I remember that they used to bring in those Argentinian high powers, which were, with the short slide, and then you could buy the short slide assembly for a while, which I bought one, had a high power made. But the fact that, and because how much is that thing? Isn't it? They're like what, $500
very
or
affordable.
something?
Yeah. I don't remember the exact price, but it's very affordable, and it's a ran it through the test. We did a story on an handgunner a while back, and it's performed well.
Well, a long time ago, when the first lights started to come out for guns, you remember, I think it was Surefire had that real long, funny, skinny one, I remember that. And I don't recall how it mounted, but I remember vividly some gun writer had one mounted on a Browning high power, and he showed it in the magazine. Well, you would have thought he was,
Oh my God.
I mean, it was, he got slammed so hard by all the aficionados out there that it just like disappeared. I mean, I never saw a light on a high power until they started putting rails on them fairly recently. So there you go.
Roy, I just wanted to say something. Of all the analogies you could have picked, that one was pretty descriptive. And you understand these are on, right? This is going to go out. Well,
I mean, you got the picture there.
You
then,
got the point across. Oh my God. Okay, let's change topics right now. Roy,
maybe it was a little crude. I apologize for that. It just kind of slipped out. All right, so moving right along.
You've got okay, it's a little warm in here now.
Yeah, we need to move on from that.
Cleanse the palate. You've got a really cool gun that we talked about, and it's the Assassin's Creed version of the TC. And I will say, our podcast where we talked about the comeback of Thompson Center, oh my Lord, that thing exploded.
I know. Yeah.
People like their TC stuff.
Yeah. And it still is, a day doesn't go by that I don't answer or comment, on that. But so this is the SSK that was on the cover. And then I added a 22 long rifle match barrel to it. And it was threaded. And at the time I didn't think about it because I'm an idiot, right? And so after I got it, I went, oh wait, it's threaded. I have a 22 suppressor, duh. I just wanted like a really cool little squirrel shooter kind of gun. And so I put a rifle scope on it, which I always put on contenders. Anyway, if you shoot this with CCI quiet ammunition, all you hear really is the hammer fall. You hear click, and then you hear the kind of tap of the bullet hitting the target, the cardboard. It just goes click, tap, click. And so far what I like about a gun like this is that if you let somebody shoot it, either who has never shot a gun before or who has shot guns before and know about guns, and I load it with a subsonic and I say, here, go ahead and shoot this. And they shoot. What do they do, Tom? They always go, ooh.
Just like Hollywood.
What? Yeah. What?
The one time where it is like Hollywood, right?
Yeah. It is. Yeah, it's one of the few times it's like Hollywood. And then they always say the next thing, which is, can I do it again?
No, one shot per customer. Sorry.
Sorry, one shot. Sorry. That ammunition is like 15 cents. So no. Yeah, we're not going to do that. Let's see. I have a lot more guns here, but Brent, do you have anything you want to talk about?
No, let's just keep going. Just be more circumspect in your analogies.
All right. I don't remember if I covered this or not, but I'll dive into it. It's the new Colt Python. And I have to say, it's every bit as good as the original Pythons. It really is. I mean, I've had a lot of the original ones through the years and have written about them and targeted them and everything, but this has that beautiful Colt blue. And if I say this, and Colt, if you're listening though, do better on the grips, would you? I mean, I'm sorry. You know, I mean, this is a premium gun. You put $8 grips on it. So sorry. Yeah, I mean, that's it. The other thing that a reader informed me, which I was not aware of, is the original 4-inch Python had 2 holes, 2 in the rib, and the new one has 3 for some reason. And I never even realized that, you know. So
that's a 50% improvement.
That's a 50% improvement, I guess. It makes it lighter. It's faster to handle from the holster, you know, and stuff like that. But we'll be covering this in the magazine, and I've made a video, and I'll do a better shooting video on it. So, but I have to say, you know, they're around $1,500 or so, and when you look at an original Python is $3,000 to $5,000, and you really have exactly the same gun here. So I think it's pretty good value. So. There we go. Blue Python. Tom, you're up. Anything?
Nope. I got a great reader mail, though.
Okay, then I will leap into the next one.
Go ahead. Knock yourself out.
Okay, so this is a rant. I think we know, and trust me, all you folks out there watching or listening, that 99.99% of you have an active and wonderful sense of humor, but there is one person who does not. And I'm going to give you the quick background. Doc Dabbs did a recent story in Handgun about a Turkish firearm. It doesn't matter which one here. And in the article, he wrote, anyone looking down their noses at Turkish firearms these days is simply a bigot, which kind of made me laugh when I read that, because that's very clearly a joke, you know. And thought so, but someone took great offense to that, and you know, it said, it seems like if an American handgun reader or anyone else has a different opinion of Turkish firearms, Will Dabbs MD considers him or her a bigot. Well, that's very DEI of him. He sounds like a typical leftist liberal. If your opinion is not the same as his, then you're patently wrong and an instant bigot. You know, I mean, this goes on and on and on. You know, it's how does the staff? Oh, I can ask you guys, how does the staff of American Handgunner feel about this? Do they agree with Will Dabbs MD?
Yes.
Are they bigot if they disagree with anything that Will Dabbs writes or other contributing editors?
Yes.
Is anyone at American Handgunner reviewing, editing Will Dabbs MD articles?
Nope. Nope. I think we always let them just however they come in,
pile of stuff and put it out there.
There it is. Print it in the magazine. You know, I'll tell you what.
My soul hurts for this person.
That guy needs.
I mean, come on, lighten up. We're having a laugh here.
Yeah, really. I wish we still had those T-shirts that said "It sucks to be you." You know, because then I would send him one so he could. And they're printed backwards, so if you're in the mirror, you can read it, right? And
that's funny.
Yeah, if we need to get more of those T-shirts made, though, just for that.
So we got to get on the ball with some editing here. So
yeah,
I know. Well, you know, though, that it mirrors what I see in the YouTube comments sometimes, and I really don't understand this at all. Other than people are just nasty, mean. You know, can I say poo-poo heads? That's okay to say that. Fine. I think. Well, yeah. So. Because, you know, I'll be something like, hey, there's this cool old classic gun and here's a little short video about it. And it's really neat. And there's got some family history and here's how it shoots. And invariably there's dozens and dozens of comments where people say, wow, what a cool gun. Gosh, thanks for sharing that with us. You know, we really appreciate these videos where you guys look at these older classic guns and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden someone will say, that's stupid.
You know what?
Or you just wasted 1 minute of my life. You know, it's like, really?
I just had an epiphany. You guys remember it had to be 6-8 months ago. We have the handgun of the month, you know, the giveaway handgun. Somebody wins a really nice package of handgun, usually in some accessories.
Yeah.
A while back, it was a nice 1911, and somebody got it and he wrote back to us and he said, this is a piece of, junk, because you have to cock it to shoot it and this and that. And it's a 1911. And I'm like, I just assumed, he just, hey, not everybody's a gun guru. He wrote back a nice letter and said, hey, it's a 1911. It's designed that way, and here's why that can be a good thing if it's your cup of tea. And he got real riled up and decided that this was pretty much the worst day in his life, that he had won $2,000 worth of free guns and gear from us. And he complained. He wrote 3-4 times back, just continuing to escalate the complaining about winning this gun. And I'm sitting here thinking, wow, there's a couple 100,000 readers out there who would trade with you in a nanosecond,
Yeah.
And I said, if you really hate it that much and it's really ruining your life, you can sell it
back.
or
send it back.
Send it back.
Yeah.
I was stunned. So yeah, you're right. There are some people, there's some unhappy folks out there.
They're just the king of the grumpy forest,
I just can't help but think, I bet they're a ball at family gatherings. Oh, don't talk to your uncle. He's in a bad mood today. Well, he's always in a bad mood. Yeah, we know.
I wanted to send him a compilation of we get these just wonderful letters and photos from people who have won the gun of the months from, all the magazines. And they're like, look at this. I went to the range today. It was so much fun. Boy, it was great, and it's like, wow.
Well, everyone should like to win presents. I remember just before I retired, I got one of those thank yous from a guy, and he said, I've been entering your gun of the month program for like 38 years, both magazines, Guns and American Handgun. Religiously every month he entered it, and he won. And
there you go. Persistence pays, right?
He was just so happy, and like you say, here's a picture of me taken with a cell phone standing in the living room, with macrame pictures on the back wall or something. And it's like, there's a happy man, what the heck? Hey, while we talk about that, let me add one thing. Years ago, when you had to actually fill a card out, it was in the magazine, you'd fill a card out, name and number, FFL and all that kind of stuff. You would mail that in to us, or we also accepted postcards. And, we would get, 50,000 postcards, and the poor mailroom guy has a guy who used to have to organize it and stuff like that. But when the first Gulf War was going on, and then afterwards, when the other Gulf Wars were going on, we would frequently get MRE covers, torn MRE covers with, all handwritten on and some, stamps stuck on them. And so it was like, those are really cool. It's like, my gosh.
Yeah. I thought you were going to tell the story. Didn't you get like the back of a bleach box or something once?
What did we? Oh, we got so many things. People would send in like glitter cards, so they would stand out. I remember one guy used to send in a Playboy magazine with his thing stamped on it, attached to it. I know. At the time, I thought, that's pretty smart, actually. So,
but I've gotten some letters on cardboard boxes, torn off the thing like a cereal box, or maybe that was the bleach box thing.
Maybe that was. And I was always amazed when we used to get a lot of written mail. You could see the old shaky handwriting, from Elmer Farnsworth from,
Squirrel Fart, Arkansas.
Usually it's Ohio or Pennsylvania or a place like that. But what used to kill me is that almost always it was a used envelope that he was repurposing. And so like the old address was crossed out and our address was written underneath it. And then, and you could see where there were a couple old stamps on it, and he had put his new stamps over them. Bless our hearts.
Yeah.
Or, old yellowed writing pad that he's had for 67 years, and they write, so if you fold it, it breaks the paper.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to take this opportunity to jump up on a soapbox and start a tirade. Are you guys okay with that for just a second?
Sure, go ahead. Yeah.
And we talk about this a lot in various formats, but I'm going to distill it down to just what we were talking about is somebody got a free, expensive gun and they were upset by it. What is wrong with so much of the shooting public in that, I thought clever thing that I've ever come up with was gun and fun are one letter apart. And in today's world, nothing is fun anymore. Now, I can't speak to everything else, but shooting should be fun. Granted, self-defense is a serious business, and safety, we're all safety Nazis, but the act of enjoying guns, owning guns, shooting guns, and all the activities that go along with it, why aren't we having fun? And I hope that's what we try to get across is, again, there's times when we take the facts serious, we don't take ourselves serious, but we want people to enjoy and embrace the fun. Let's have fun here, people. Okay. So that was just the point I wanted to get across, that you can be serious about a hobby or serious about your self-defense training and all that. But when you get right down to it, owning guns, shooting guns, hunting, target practice, reloading, gunsmithing, why aren't we having fun? So try to have a little more fun.
You know what? I did a little short video on that little miniature Mosin Nagant single shot 22. I think you remember that. If you guys want to see it, jump on our YouTube channel, FMG Publications, and click on shorts, and you'll see it's a little miniature Mosin Nagant 22 rifle. It's just absolutely the cutest thing. It's like that AR-15 22 I showed a minute ago. I know, it's so cute. And of course, all of the shooters, they all logged in. Oh my God, I lost my mind. Now I'm going to have to buy one. I'm telling my wife it's for the kids, but we all know really it's for me. And everyone was having a great time with it. And then, of course, one guy, Elmer, had to say, he said, that's a ridiculous waste of money because it doesn't function like the original Mosin Nagant. So why would anyone be interested in that? And it was like, and anymore now, I'm sorry, I don't have any patience. It's like, I just said, well, I can see that you're not someone who is the least bit interested in this. And I kind of chatted a little bit. I said, unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there and they enjoy having fun with shooting. I think, Brent, I actually used your F&G, fun is one letter away from gun. And I said, so just lighten up. If you don't like it, that's fine. But other people like it. It's okay. And then, as always happens after that, other commenters are saying, yay, I'm glad you told him off, But it's like, God,
Yeah.
All right.
Now we sound like crotchety old guys. Yeah,
well, we are crotchety old guys.
I'm smiling.
Yeah, we are crotchety. All right. All right. Well, look, we solved every problem I could think of to solve today. Yeah,
I think so. Well, you guys got anything else before we wind this latest collection of gun stuff down?
No, take a new shooter shooting, would you? That's my main thing, is take a new shooter shooting, and like we talk about all the time, teach them proper safety, teach them how to load and unload the gun safely, show them, give them a set of cheap hearing muffs if you want to, and some eye protection, and then they'll have them, and you will be a hero. And then you'll have somebody else who wants to know more about shooting. So a lot of people talk about it, but actually do it. Yep. And it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. As I say at the end of all my podcasts, now just get out there and get shooting, because that's all you need to do, and show them the fun in gun. So before we go, a couple of housekeeping things. As we've said before, and we explained why, please like and subscribe what we're doing. One cool side or byproduct, I couldn't think of the word, that with all this newfound attention on the internet, on YouTube, we're getting comments saying, I've subscribed to your magazine. Yes, we still have print magazines, and we think they're pretty darn good. So
they're high capacity print
magazines. They are high capacity print magazines. So if you go to gunsmagazine.com or AmericanHandgunner.com, you can sign up for our great giveaway. And you can also check out our deals on subscribing to the magazines. We also have links in there.
Reminder, if they do win the giveaway that you just mentioned, be sure and send us an angry letter.
Yes. Please. That's Tom McHale,
really nasty.
Care of American Handgunner Magazine. We also got a book after Mike Venturino, the Duke, passed away. We put together a bunch of his writing, and it's available. I hope it's linked there. I haven't looked, but it's certainly available on Amazon as either physical book, and I think they've done it as a downloadable. So if you like what Mike talked about, he was such a guy and such an expert on a couple of different subjects. So you can check that that out. Anything? And the Guns Magazine podcast. You can subscribe at all your favorite podcast directories, and of course, you can watch it on YouTube, like 113,000 other co-fans. And guys, have I forgotten anything else?
I think it's time to say goodbye.
Well, goodbye, go, neighbors. We have been, once again, the Gun Cranks. We try to come out about every 2 weeks. I think we pushed it this time, but we'll be back with another episode. Make sure you reach out to us if you got a question. If it's a comment, you can leave it down there on YouTube, or you can reach out to Tom and I. That's editor@gunsmagazine.com and editor@American Handgunner. And we base a lot of what we do on the feedback we get from folks. And if you just want to be crappy about something, that's good too, because we like to talk about that behind the back. So anyway, on behalf of said Roy Huntington, International Man of Mystery, and Tom McHale, the editor of American Handgunner American Handgunner Magazine, that'll go in the blooper reel. I am Guns Magazine editor Brent Wheat. We'll see you next time on The Gun Cranks.